Magnificent Seven. Magnificent Seven. Okay, I'll just kind of sway back and forth. Be on film, I guess. A quick review of the remake of the 1960s Magnificent Seven movie, which is based on an earlier movie, but Kira Ishikawa. I think I'm gonna mess that up. Magnificent Seven Samurai, basically. The idea also became some elements of Star Wars and a number of other movies, including Battle Beyond the Stars, which is and some other things. Yeah, so it's not a bad sequel or remake, soft reboot, I guess. This time it wasn't filmed in Mexico or New Mexico, I think, and parts of Louisiana. And so, yeah, it was interesting. I'm not sure. I'm hoping I'm in the frame. And yeah, so we'll talk about it a little later. This probably isn't working. Okay, so yes. So this is a review of the Magnificent Seven, the director of Training Day and Equalizer. Didn't see either of those movies, but I've seen Training Day. I'm not sure. Yeah. So Magnificent Seven is a cowboy movie, a remake of the Seven Samurai. The it it's good. It's okay. It's not an Oscar movie. It's just okay. It's trying hard to be kind of Oscar worthy, but it's just okay. Yeah. There was some upbeat scenes in it. I think for the most part it wasn't being completely weird. Or the Magnificent Seven is based on a cowboy movie from the '60s. There have been a resurgence of cowboy movies over the past 10 years, including 310 to Yuma and True Grit, and Hateful Eight was sort of an homage to that kind of thing. The Django Unchained, although that originally was an Italian movie and it wasn't even about cowboys. Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, there's been somewhat of a resurgence of that kind of flick. This one has Denzel Washington and Brad Pitt and some others. No, not Brad Pitt. No. Pitt's something, but Pratt. Chris Pratt. His name is spelled backwards. Chris Pratt. And Chris Pratt. Yeah, and it was interesting that, like, I don't know if anybody caught it, but in the movie that the everybody in the movie was like out in the middle of the high desert, allegedly in New Mexico or wherever they filmed it, and none of them were sunburned except the grizzly cowboy guys. The lady running around in the middle of the desert, walking around with her shoulders bare, would have been red all over. She was pretty pale. She would have been red. She would have been burning up. Oh well. Anyway, so yeah, there's a grizzly miner type, and there's an evil villain type who, in the beginning, destroys the town church and threatens to kill them all and kills some of them, and that's what starts the catalyst of the story of the wife, the widow of somebody killed, getting seven desperate men together to kick ass. And she does. That kind of gives spoilers, but the Magnificent Seven story was done in many versions, including Star Wars did a version of it, and they're doing it again with Rogue One. There was Battle Beyond the Stars, which was sort of the samurai version, but a very cheesy one. There was so it's been it's been done before a bunch of times. Even Mad Max Fury Road was kind of the same idea, getting back to town and then defeating the bad guy. The idea of retaking the town or the fortress is even prevalent in Blazing Saddles. Which this movie is taking it more seriously, but not overly, not like the Coen brothers would have done it. This is somebody else. Who is this guy who directed it? I don't recognize any of those other names. Anyway, so Magnificent Seven remake. I don't want to give too much away. It just came out. Suffice it to say that it's that story you've all heard. There's a couple of gun battles. They fight their way into the city to fight the sheriff who's gotten corrupt, and then wait for the main bad guy to return, and they have to train the town to fight the main bad guy. So yeah, that's kind of the plot uh, in the town. The interplay between the characters is what makes the story more so than the actual battle. The battle is just the battle. I don't want to give away what happens in the battle. You have to watch it. It's a cowboy western, so ironically, Clint Cowpoke is not doing this one, just whatever reason. Um, but there you are. There's yeah, Magnificent Seven. Um, I don't really recall much about the 1960s one, so I really can't say if it's true to that. I guess as this version is more flashy and a lot more kinetic and probably has well, it had a bunch of jump shots and stuff in it like that, and quick cuts and edits. I'm sure the '60s one didn't. In '60s movies they were like oh here, their idea of action was like a guy riding against a backdrop on a horse, and then maybe aiming his gun, and then getting off, and then maybe shooting a guy and standoff. So it's probably a really long-haired movie. I mean, not terribly exciting for that time period. Like the old '60s James Bond movies, where a third of it they're in a car with a backdrop behind them, doing an alleged car chase in a parking lot. But yeah, but in this case, yeah, the quick cuts and edits are kind of frantic and a little confusing. That's probably one drawback to it, but it's much a millennial version as anything. Chris Pratt, Denzel Washington chewing scenery, and several of the others that should have been sunburned. But yeah, Magnificent Seven. This is real brief. Don't have much more on it. Was able to complete the whole review here. Oh, no, yeah. Go and see it. I give it 3 stars. It's not quite 3.5. 3 stars. It's not Oscar worthy. I don't think any of the performances are Oscar worthy. It's just sort of there. It's fine. It's entertaining. Packed house audience. The trailers before the movie included that new space movie Passengers, which is Chris Pratt and Hunger Games chick Jennifer Lawrence trapped on a spaceship headed for a sun or something, and they have to get out and stop it or something. They're on a spaceship, so it's like Solaris meets uh, Moon a little bit, with a little bit of that Sun movie from a while back, Day Late or whatever it was. A little bit of some other stuff as well. So yeah, let's see what else we have. Bad Santa 2. Yeah, we have a comedy about Bad Santa's too, but we have a comedy about apparently some Loomis armored car guys. And they used a real name, stealing an armored truck. That's a comedy with the guy from Hangover and some other people. He's also in that new upcoming spy movie, Keeping Up with the Joneses, Gandolfina or whatever his name is, Italian guy. But yeah, and there was yeah, so that's coming out. It's something that I thought of a couple of years ago. I thought, like a funny heist movie is a bunch of people like get a hold of an armored car, and they're armored car guys, and they take the armored car. That'd be funny. They just take it. That's the joke. They made a movie out of it. Who knew? Somebody was listening to me and Mark's Cards discussing this as a joke. Mall, and they made a movie out of it. Hey, where's our check? Anyway, but yeah, looks like Paul Blart Mall Cop meets The Great Heist. It could be good or it could suck. Also, what does look like it sucks is Split, M. Night Shyamalan's latest goofy like idea about a bad guy. He apparently watched or read about the people with split personalities, and he read about the making of Cloverfield 2. And he's all, I'm going to do that, but with a split personality guy who dresses up as different people. So it's the mind of Millie Milligan meets Cloverfield Lane. Yeah. And not only that, but apparently he's a shapeshifter who can change his shape. Shyamalan, what? What are you doing? You can't. No, that doesn't make any sense at all. Shyamalan, that's just terrible. A bad idea in every way. Um, yes. Yeah. Some of the previews look bad. Yeah. First of all, a split personality person. That's not how that works. Personality dissociative disorder. Somebody that thinks they're other people. They're not literally other people, and they change into literally something else, and they have shape shifting power. No, they tend to believe that they're sort of their other. They're a manifestation. Actually, kind of. You could do a report on that. I guess you could go and look it up in psychology. But it's basically the idea is that the split personality disorder sometimes can spurn from abuse, where the the child as an adult has internalized abuse, so that their other half takes over for them, and then they sort of kids always have often have an imaginary friend, but in this case it sort of manifests as a personality instead of just an imaginary friend. Imaginary friend's normal. That kind of thing's normal. Every kid has that. Yeah. So, or most of them. If they don't have friends, especially, or they externalize objects, teddy bear, little pony, whatever, and blanket kind of thing. But yeah, so the idea of a psycho killer being a split personality is interesting, but he would still be a psycho killer. His none of the personalities would be usable, and he actually rips off a Harry Potter character in there. He's like, how's he getting away with that? As one of them, that wouldn't happen because he wouldn't internalize that. Oh well. Anyway, yeah, that movie was annoying, but the space movie might be fun. So, right on. Yeah. Dissociative disorder. Some people with the dissociative disorder will dissociate movies and reality. Many of the fringe people that see objects that aren't there, that's another thing, or stuff like that, or see a movie as real but real life is a movie. They might have that a little bit. Yeah, so that's what that's about. I have a brother who's a psych nurse, ex retired. Anyway, psych nurse. Yeah, those kind of things are interesting. I knew of a few people that probably had some version of that kind of schizophrenia, and they really didn't turn into other creatures or anything. They would just zone out and imagine other stuff was going on, and then they'd come back. So it was not like axe murder thing.